Hi guys, you again.
Darren, shut up!
Hi guys, welcome to Mahker. I'm Dave, for those of you who don't know me, and today's episode is going to be all about Scram. Lots of you have asked questions, so here's the answers.
We put a post out on Instagram this morning, and we've got a few questions, and the first one is you're about to answer it. So, from the real Joe Smith, what's the plan for the expedition next year?
So we're waiting now to hear off Fuel when they plan to run the trip, but we've got some secrets up our sleeve of how to make this thing. The shocks can be dialed in a little bit better, you know, things like we had the back end kicking a little bit. So we're going to make a few refinements there, and there's going to be a secret build that's going to be going next year.
But also is people are asking us, we've got more and more people asking, can they come, is my vehicle suitable for it? Does it have to be 30 years old? No, they don't, but what they don't want is they don't want brand new modern Ford Rangers or Land Cruisers.
It doesn't sound like it's in the spirit of it.
It's not. So if you've got an older Defender, they're more than happy because they look the part. Fuel is all about looks and having bikes that do it and that look the part, and they want people that look the part. And Defenders do kind of look the part. So they want to have more Land Rovers, Dave said, or more 4x4s. But I think we'll go again. I've 2 or 3 people have said, can I go, can I come? Or have you got room in your car for me?
Please like and subscribe, guys.
From Flow MLX, Dave, what was the total cost of Scram, including the diesel and petrol? If you had to put a number on it, like...
We haven't added up yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
Ballpark? You said it was £5,000 per head to enter?
Well, no, the Land Rover, to take a 4x4 is €3,500 for the 4x4, 2,000 for the passenger. Then, and that includes, that's Barcelona to Barcelona back, that is... that's almost full board. So you get pack-ups in the daytime. It doesn't include beer or fuel or vehicle breakdowns. So you could, 5,000 tops it would be maximum per person tops.
110 Adventure. So what's the next upgrade for Rodent?
The only thing that I would change and do for Scram next year is that I would put hydraulic bump stops on the front, just because of the washout, the odd washout that you hit, and that's the only thing that I would change. Just because we had two or three hits where you hit as you go in and you can't brake, yeah. And it hurts, and it just shocks just to soften that, and that is the only thing that I would change. Dave,
this is the second time you've done Scram Africa, and you've previously driven in these kind of environments. What is your one must-have thing for desert travel?
As daft as it sounds, I'm not sure they're the political correct term for it. And I want to say dust prevention. And because believe me, when it kicks in, most people take the mick out of like Eastern people when you see them. I'm not sure what you call it. What would you call the proper name for it?
It's not the turban.
It's like I don't know.
It's a headscarf.
Yeah, headscarf. Right. And I tell you what, when it comes in, it's the first time since Afghan I've been hit with a sandstorm that hard. We were doing 50 miles an hour and the wind hit the car that hard that the accelerator wouldn't go any faster. And I was like, oh my God, we had to gear down and we were pushing against it. And the sand was coming in and hitting me so hard. So I want to say a good pair of goggles, like dust goggles that are sealed to your face. Something like, I think they're called smoggles or stuff like that. A set of those, a good scarf around your face, because I tell you what, I felt sorry for some of the guys on the bikes with open helmets, because it must have been hardcore.
In hindsight, this is F1 Womble. In hindsight, is there anything you would have done differently on the Land Rover?
Yeah, we talked about having, like, when we fitted the doors, fantastic in the heat, absolutely beautiful. You can lock up the landscapes, you can feel the humidity, and it's lovely. You don't want to escape that when you're there, because it's currently raining here, and that's all it ever does. And when we were there, we were enjoying it, but when the weather come in, we almost wanted to have something we could quickly, like a button-up canvas or something like that,
For someone that doesn't know, I mean, it's got normal Land Rover doors on at the moment, but if you flick back through some of our videos, one of the videos, am I right, Ben, is fitting these like mesh doors that you had specially
so we call
made.
those, let's say the tube and a half doors, that's what we called them. And we can offer those in the range. We can put your own branding on the side of them, we can put your own name on the side of them, whatever you fancy, we can laser cut into the side of those doors. They were fantastic, but it got cold. And like a couple of the days where, like some of the stages in here, we were doing 200, 250 clicks on the road, and the weather had come in and it was pretty nippy. And you know, we were clothed up, fleeces on, trousers on, and we were still nippy in the cars. Like heater was flat out to keep our legs warm. And you just wanted to have that little bit of a buffer. And you don't want to be changing doors because they're a pain in the ass, basically. As easy as they are to change. We left our big doors on the support truck. And it was, you don't want to be referring like, Tony, slow down, we want our doors back. It's too late for that.
What are the best Scram mods to a TD590?
I'd say cooling, probably. So Rob, that bought the Project Atlas, we gave him an electronic fan. And that was, I want to say, invaluable in the end, because he pushed and pushed and pushed in the altitude. And I want to say Defender cooling is great, but you need that assistance. So definitely something like an AliSport radiator, XL size, double pass job with an electric fan that you can either turn on manually or have on a dialed in Revotech or something like that.
And I guess linked in this, how reliable, this is from Mr. Jack Thompson, how reliable does your Defender need to be to do this trip?
Well, to give you an example, Mauro did it in a beaten up old 200 TDI that wasn't it pretty cheap when he bought it?
He bought it cheap. He bought it about a month before. He sent it away and really just did some cosmetic work on it, and he drove it. But the mechanics were working on it almost every night to get it through.
What I'd say it wants 6 months. I reckon you want to be prepping your car 6 months prior, and then you want to probably get, I want to say 5,000 miles on your car of hard, arduous driving to just make sure it's reliable prior to going.
Harry Marshall says, so you've done this in May, was the one you did last year, and September was the one this year. What time of year would you like to go and do this trip?
I'd say the same time as we did it first time round. Yes, it was hotter, but it was nicer, wasn't it?
It is. It was a rainy time. It should have been almost as hot this year, but they had rain. The weather patterns have been a bit changeable this year, so the weather should have been better. But we're governed by Scram, so it's a fuel. It's when they choose to do it. Fuel they set at the time. It was nice. May was lovely. 49 degrees was hot. But that was really nice in the heat. It was a different challenge of the heat and the dust, where we had the wet and the cold. And the sandstorms was hard work, but just different challenges, I suppose.
I think there's somebody might have some inside information on this one, given that his name on Instagram is Uncle Mauro. He says, how many beers did you have?
So this year was actually quite well behaved, I want to say. Well, it wasn't well behaved. We demolished quite a bit of gin and quite a bit of whiskey. We took enough, and we thought it would last us, didn't we?
Well, we had fridges, so Rodent's fridge is 55 litres. Mauro had 60 litres that we filled with our beer because he hadn't filled it. So that was about 100 odd litres of beer. But when you're stopping in the desert, you're in the middle of nowhere, and we ended up giving a lot of the beer away, and you sat around at night at a campfire.
The bikers got wind, didn't they? They
And the bikers got wind. Can I have a beer? So
we need a bigger beer fridge.
From my point of view, I think it was a little bit more relaxed this year. Only because I remember putting the video out last year and getting a few comments saying this needed a parental warning, and because last year's was a little bit leery, and I don't feel we've had that this year. It definitely feels like it's been more of an experience this year.
And more of an experience. It was a group of people. We were with a different group, where there was another group last year, a little core group, and they were quite leery and loud.
I'd say maturer folk this year.
There was a split.
Yeah.
You were more mature.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So it was just different. I think we weren't as leery. Yes, we had the 2 or 3 nights where we may have overdrank slightly.
Rob bought a very nice bottle of whiskey that he tried rationing, and that didn't happen. I kept stealing it back out the roof tent and devouring it.
Yeah, so I've showed you the ways of Macallan whiskey, so Dave managed to polish off a bottle of Macallan Enigma.
It was very nice, let's say this.
Right, last one then. This is from Racco Paul. What 3 words sum up the trip?
Laugh. I'd say adrenaline.
It's comradeship.
Yeah.
Comradeship. Friends.
So for us, we haven't seen Mauro for a year, and we waited up for him. So the first night we got to Barcelona, we flew there this year, and we did something very different. So I employed a local guy, well, he's not so local, a chap that put two cars on a low loader, and he took them to Barcelona for us. He dropped them off at Isidore's house in Barcelona. Nice of us to leave them there for like prior for a week. And I said to Rob, look, for me to have a day away from the business, you know, it's money lost. And so I did the pros and cons and thought, you know what, I'm going to stick them on a lorry when we get them there. So Mauro needed to get his 200 TDI 90 there. So I said, look, we'll put them on a lorry, we'll split the cost between us. And I'm glad we did, because this little puppy, Keith actually drove this all the way, believe it or not, from Exeter to Barcelona. There's a bit of ferry in between, but hats off to him, he bloody did it. And he said to me, Dave, is there any room on that lorry on the way home? We found it highly amusing, so that came on the way back. There's a pair of bikes in the other workshop. That came on the way back. So the lorry on the way back was, Dave, is there any room on that lorry? And I tell you what, I should have charged them more. But anyway, next year, I might buy my own low loader and fill it full of trucks. But the lorry driver cracked a joke. He said, Dave, can I take him all the way to the Morocco last time? I think he wants a free holiday. So that might happen, depending on, because the 2 days on the boat on the way there, boy, it was boring. And of course, we were forced to drink, and we were forced to, you know, talk to each other. So,
but it was nice because we caught up, because we hadn't seen Mauro for a year, and to see him, and he's such a character. And
he was dancing on the bonnet at 12 o'clock at night.
At 12 o'clock at night, he turns up. He's never actually seen his car finished. So he's bought his stereo, and he's on the bonnet dancing, looking around it. And he's just like a kid at Christmas. Just the biggest smile on his face. Yeah.
And the following day, we drove into Barcelona City to get the ferry, obviously, and we couldn't keep up with him. And this puppy's quick, and I was like, oh my God. Anyway, he gets out at the ferry port, and he's like, Dave, it doesn't lean, it doesn't fall over, and it goes like hell. So I was like, I've done it. I've ticked that box, and I was like, oh my God, if he carries on driving like that, he's going to blow it up before we even get to this desert. But it did it, and it completed it. So hats off to my team. They did a fantastic job. And the cars are still here. We've got Mauro's car back here now for some straightening out, should I say. So Mauro, how hard did you drive yesterday?
Like he's stolen.
What's the turbo doing now? Anyway, thanks again for watching, guys, and I hope some of you have found this interesting. And if any of you would like a car built for Scram, don't be afraid to get in touch, but don't do it last minute like Rob Shell did. Anyway, it's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from him.
From him. See you later. Bye-bye.